welcome to another episode of All American Cooking. I am your host, Michael Allen, and it is finally time for part 3, my 3-part series on my St. Patrick's Day feast. In this episode, we're talking about corned beef, baby. Oh yeah. We've got one that we're going to smoke. We've got one that we're going to braise with Guinness and some spices and some vegetables, the cabbage, the carrots, the potatoes, and then as a pleasant surprise, as an added bonus, we've got the smoked cabbage. Oh yeah, if you've never smoked a head of cabbage, stick around, watch this video, and learn how it's done. I'm telling you right now, it's amazing. We had a little vote on everything, and while I enjoyed the smoked corned beef very much, everybody seemed to love the Guinness braised corned beef. But the smoked cabbage was the winner of the day. So be sure to stick around to the end of this video. Please like, share, comment, and above all, please subscribe. Subscribing to this channel is free. It costs you nothing. It just means that I'm easier to find. And if you click that little bell for notifications, it means I come to you. I let you know when new videos are uploaded, so you don't have to come searching for me. So let's get right into this. Corned beef and cabbage, St. Patrick's Day here at Chef Michael's house. Enjoy. So if you watched episode 1 or part 1 of my 3-part series here, you saw me cut a beef brisket flat and make a brine. This is that kid right here. We took it out of the brine and rinsed it under cold water. Now we're just going to pat the kid dry. You can see how the beef was discolored. You can see there's a little slit right here where the beef is still red, where the brine really didn't get to. Don't worry about it. That's okay. If little sections didn't get the brine, it's still going to be fine. You're going to be wonderful. Now, the part 2 of my series showed that I put the brisket with some Killians into a Dutch oven and into the oven. Now, this one is going to go into this aluminum tray. I highly recommend the aluminum tray because this one's going into an electric smoker for about 2 hours or so at 225. But first we need to add some liquid. We got to have some liquid in there, otherwise it's going to dry out. We don't want that. So again, I'm going with the Killians, this beautiful Irish Red Ale, one of my favorite beers. So we're just going to pour about a half a bottle of this, maybe 3/4 of a bottle, just right over the beef. We don't need the whole bottle because we got to have a drink for the chef. So now that we've had our sip of Killians, we've got our corned beef sitting in a little pool of Killians. The next thing we're going to do is not cover this with foil, but we're going to wrap some foil around it and leave a little gap, a little opening, because we want the smoke to penetrate. So you see what I'm doing here? I've got a sheet of foil we're going to throw over 1/2, just like so. And then I'm going to tear off another piece of foil, and I'm going to put it on the other side, just like so. But I do not want to seal this completely shut because I want that smoke to penetrate. I want the smoke to get in, but the foil is going to help that beer as it starts to steam. It's going to penetrate this entire brisket with moisture. It's going to be absolutely epic. So once you've got it like this, into the electric smoker at 225, we're using pecan, alder, and cherry wood. So off to the smoker we go. And now it's time for our third brisket. Now you didn't see the first brisket, but I talked about it in part 2 of this series. It was a store-bought brisket that I simply seared in a Dutch oven, added the store packaged spice mix, whatever, a bottle of Killians into the Dutch oven and into the oven at 250 for a couple of hours. Now, brisket number 3 here is an Angus brisket. I bought it at the store just like this. Totally different from what I'm used to. There's no big fat cap on this, but I still did all the same thing with the brine. Nothing to trim on here. We're just going to pat it dry. This is going to go in a large stock pot to get seared. We're going to get some color on both sides before we add the Guinness and our extra vegetables and spices. So check it out. So now we've got a large stock pot with a little bit of avocado oil heating over high heat for about 10 minutes. We want this pot nice and hot. In goes our beautiful brisket. Basically right now we're just looking for a good sear. We want to sear it on both sides. So once you've got a nice sear on this bad boy, you can see this beautiful color there. So it's seared on both sides. Now we're going to start adding some Guinness beer, regular Guinness draft. This is what I use. We're going to go 4 bottles of this, okay? This is a 4.5 pound brisket. I'm going to go 4 bottles, and then I'm going to fill each bottle with water, and I'm going to continue to add the water until the brisket is submerged. So I think this one wound up taking me 16 bottles of water in addition to the 4 bottles of the Guinness itself. You just want to get it to the point where the liquid is just above the top part of the brisket. You could go all Guinness and no water, but it's a little rich when you add the potatoes, the carrots, and the cabbage. So if you're doing all of them together, I strongly recommend start off with the Guinness, finish it off with water. So as my man Guga would say, once you've added all the water, this is what it looks like. But now we've got to add our aromatics. We're going to start off, I've got 1 large yellow onion that I've cut into quarters. We're going to drop those kids into the pool. Next thing we're going to add is about 6 cloves of smashed garlic. And now I've got a blend of a 1/4 teaspoon each of ground cinnamon, ground cloves, allspice, and black pepper. Once you've got your onions, your garlic, and your spices in there, go ahead and give that kid a good mix. So once everything is thoroughly mixed, go ahead and drop a couple of bay leaves in there. We've got it on high heat. We're going to bring it up to a boil. Once it reaches a boil, we're going to reduce the heat to medium-low. We're going to cover it and just let it simmer for about the next 3 hours. So now it's time for the star of our show. Well, it turned out to be the star of the show, our smoked cabbage. I've taken a paring knife and I've cut out a big chunk of the core into a wedge. Just kind of cleaned it out as much as I possibly could. There's a nice little pocket in here. So we're going to start off. We've got a total of 4 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of barbecue seasoning. We're going to start off with 2 tablespoons of butter cut in 2 tablespoons, cut into pieces. Put 2 of them in there. And now we're going to take about half of our barbecue seasoning. Now this is my own personal blend, but I'm not ready to give that secret out yet. That'll come out later this summer. So go ahead, and store-bought is fine. Go ahead and pour about half of that. And then we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the butter in there. Get it all in there, that beautiful core cut out. What this is going to do in the smoker is unbelievable. Pour the rest of the barbecue seasoning over it. And we're going to take our little wedge of the core and we're going to kind of shove it down in there. Make sure everything's nice and tight in there. Now you've noticed I've got foil wrapped around the bottom half of this cabbage. Okay? For the first half of our smoke, we're going to do half of the cabbage wrapped. For the second half, we're going to wrap the rest of it. But for now, half of it wrapped, put it into a foil tray, into our smoker at 225 with our corned beef, and we'll see what happens next. So my barbecue aficionados out there are going to bash me like hell because I'm using an electric smoker, but hey, it's cold out. This is in my garage. The corned beef is already in there. It smells amazing. Our half-wrapped cabbage is going to go in there just as is. Again, my smoker is at 225. It's going to go in there for about an hour and a half. Then we're going to wrap the rest of it and finish the job. A bonus shot that didn't make it to the edit in part 2. There's our cake after 1 hour. Look at how beautiful that thing is. And the old baker's trick, how do you know the cake is done? Stick a toothpick in. If it comes out clean, that cake is done. So while the cake is still hot out of the oven, the plate goes on top of the bundt pan. We're simply going to flip this pan upside down, and using that Pam baking spray with the flour in it, you shouldn't have to tap or anything. Just lift the bundt pan up, and oh my God, It's perfect. It's exactly what we wanted. This kid's gonna go off to cool. I'm sorry this didn't make it into the edit in part 2, but I wanted you to see how it's done. Enjoy. So after 90 minutes, it's time to open up our electric smoker and take a look at what we've got going on. Look at all the smoke coming out, that alder wood, the pecan wood, the cherry wood. What a great combination. The corned beef is up on top. Let's first take a look at our cabbage. Oh, it smells glorious. The wedge is still in place. It's still a little bit firm. It's still got another hour and a half to go, but the smell is amazing. So now we're going to take another sheet of foil. We're going to go ahead and wrap this kid the rest of the way. Cover it completely, seal it shut. It's got enough of the smoke in it, but we don't want to leave it completely exposed. We want to make sure it continues to steam from within so that it's a little softer than tender crisp. That goes back in. Let's take a look at our brisket, shall we? Oh, and the smell coming off of this thing. So now we're going to peel the foil back. Now, remember, we just added 3/4 of a bottle of Killians to this, but you see all the liquid that's in there. That's the beer and all the juices running out of that beef. So it's essentially braising within itself. But now we want some color on the top. So with the foil peeled back, we're going to go ahead and throw this back into the smoker for 90 minutes. When the cabbage is done, the beef is done, and we're ready to eat. So an hour and a half later, the cabbage and the beef come out of the smoker. Let's peel the foil back and see what we have. Here is our beautiful brisket. It's been smoking and braising in its own juices along with that Killians. Look at the color on that. Is that not fantastic? Come on, that's what you're looking for. Who doesn't want to eat that? All right, now our cabbage. Let's peel that top layer off. Oh, come on. The color on that, the smell coming off of this. My mouth is watering. My mouth is watering. Please do this. You want to do this. Trust me. Oh my God, it's glorious. All right, so the time has come to carve this kid. We're going to go ahead. We've pulled it out of the smoker. You can see which way the grain is running. It runs this way, so we want to cut against the grain. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that little... Oh, look at the color. Oh, it's so beautiful. So we're going to cut a couple of nice thick slices. Oh, my God, it's perfect. But then, of course, we're going to cut some nice thin slices as well. Cut against the grain. That way it stays together. It stays nice and firm, but it also shortens up those fibers, keeps it that much more tender and juicy. Oh, if you could smell this, I wish you could smell this. But you're going to, because you're going to make this, right? Tell me you're going to make this. Leave a comment below. Tell me if you're going to make this. Send me an email. Show me pictures of you making this. Please, please make this. You want this. And how about this beautiful smoked cabbage? Come on. So here's how to carve this up. First, we want to take this core out. Oh, look at the color in there. The barbecue seasoning, the butter. It's just a pool of delicious flavor inside there. It's firm enough that you can go ahead and cut it in half. Oh, and look at it. It's just oozing flavor all over. So after a little cleanup with the paper towel, because it's just leaking all over. Oh, look at the color on this. So we're going to go ahead and flip this half this way, and we're going to cut some nice slices here. Just cutting into slices. Oh, the smell coming off of this. Please make this. Please. I want so badly for you all to taste this. So once you've sliced through it all, onto our plate we go. So finally, our Angus brisket that was braising in Guinness with onions and garlic and spices. You can see the grain runs across the length of this thing. So I'm trying to slice it nice and thin, but you can see it's literally just falling apart. So I'm going to have to cut slightly thicker slices here. The smell coming off of this thing. Now you didn't see, I didn't show on the video, but in the last 45 minutes of the braise, I added to the stock pot some chopped up carrots, some chopped up red potatoes, and another head of cabbage that I cut into quarters. So we'll see those in a minute, but for a moment, just enjoy this beautiful slicing of this brisket. So when it's all said and done, there's the beautiful potatoes and carrots, the braised corned beef and braised cabbage, the smoked corned beef, smoked cabbage. This is St. Patrick's Day at my place. So, Mama, how is it?
Very good. Very good.
Which do you like better, the smoked or the braised?
The braised.
You like the braised better?
Yeah.
Okay. That's one for braised. And what do we got over here sitting at the bar? We've got the rest of the family over here. Pamela, This is my baby sister. What do you think?
It's very good.
All right, what do you like better, the smoked or the braised?
This one.
The braised?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2 for the braised. Andrea, did you try both the smoked and the braised? Which one do you like better?
The braised.
The braised? And nephew Nathan, what do you think, brother?
I only had the braised.
You only had the braised? You didn't even try the smoked?
It's pretty good.
That's good.
He literally took a plate of meat.
Well, he's on the keto diet.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody liked the braised better. I personally like the smoked better.
You should get that on video right there.
It's getting all foggy on me. It's because of all the steam from you kids. Jesus. Slow down, chew your food. So this is St. Patrick's Day at Michael Allen Kay's house. Hope everybody had a good one. Thanks for watching All American Cooking. T, which do you like better?
Woo!
Which do you like better, the smoked or the braised?
Braised is good. This is like bacon, though. This is good. Oh, good. Actually,
Well, damn, that was pretty good, huh? All right, thanks, guys. Don't eat boring food, right, everybody?
Don't eat boring food.
So there it was, guys. The general consensus was that corned beefs, all of them were excellent. The Reuben Pastry Rolls were gone almost instantly. The smoked corned beef was delicious. The Angus braised corned beef, very, very delicious. I enjoyed it. Everybody else seemed to like that one better. The smoked cabbage is the one that won awards today. Everybody loved the smoked cabbage. So the vegetables, everything just had tremendous flavor. This is St. Patrick's Day at my place here in Manhattan. So hopefully with these recipes, you can have your own amazing St. Patrick's Day feast. People forget that it is a great food holiday. One of my favorites. So don't eat boring food. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your support. Go home and make this. Make next St. Patrick's Day the best St. Patrick's Day ever for you and your family. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.